your back. And I've like been in this season of growth where I'm constantly reminded, and it makes me feel like absolute trash because I am constantly reminded that God is going to pull me out of whatever is going on. And it's such a good reminder, but with that reminder comes like the obedience that like Vic mentioned, the obedience of like just following the Lord. Like he literally just wants the best for us, and in return he's like, just love me, like just be my friend. And so like that's really just what he wants from us. And it's crazy because and I think Daniela mentioned a while back, like when you take like your tithes off of like the top of your bills versus like trying to work it in, it's like his math is crazy, y'all. I'm telling you. Like, you're a math teacher. It don't math. The math ain't mathin', right? It blows your mind. Like, the Lord is here to take care of you, and he just asks us to be obedient. And so that's something that I'm learning now. Like, with my job now, I don't make a whole lot of money, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, my bills are paid, but I'm still trying to be obedient because, like, I was unemployed for 6 months. Blows my mind. And I did not run out of money. All of my bills were paid. So I'm trying to remain in that obedience of, well, like I'm here. Like I made it here because the Lord is so good. And so trying to like incorporate that, and it's hard for me, I'm not gonna lie, because growing up, like it was always like, oh, here's like $10 for tithing every 2 weeks, like, you know. And so growing up is like different than like practicing now. And so I'm trying to like differentiate and like figure out how to do it now that best fits with my finances. I'm 26 and I'm still learning, so it's okay, it's a learning process. We'll get there. But, so yeah. Really, my big point of that is I was unemployed for 6 months, y'all. Zero income. Like, negative zero income. And I did not run out of money, and I did not have to move back in with my parents. So, that's my testimony about Jesus and money, because Jesus is so good. And I have also not had to pay out of pocket for school. So that's also my testimony, because I don't want to go to school anymore, guys. But Jesus is like, what'd you say? I said amen. Relatable. And that's how I know, like, this is where I'm supposed to be, because the Lord is literally providing the path for it. And I'm like, oof, okay, at least I can do this, pass these exams. Okay, that's all I have.
Oh, we turn that mic on? All right. Thank you so much, Danielle, for sharing. I really appreciate it. That's a long time.
Yeah.
It's a long time. Okay, here's the deal. Here are your announcements for this week for everybody who is watching this on their own tube. Get it? YouTube? Thanks, Eric. Number one, Doc and Eileen are going to have their baby in December.
Yeah, 8 weeks.
Yeah, 8 weeks. And Doc has been running all of our technology, so music on Sunday morning, speakers, Proclaim, YouTube Live, all that stuff. And so it does not fall to me every week. We are looking for somebody to be taught, or who wants to be taught how to do this stuff. So me and that person could at least trade spots every week. No. All the things that I just mentioned, the music, Proclaim, the live stream, all of those things. We need help there. So if I get one more person, Allie raised her hand, and if anyone else wants to, one of us will teach you step by step all the things that you need to know so we could get all that done every week without any issues. So, yeah, for those who are watching at home, feel free to scan this QR code, because we are surveying the peeps. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Christmas and New Year's are on Sundays, Christmas events, Thanksgiving, all the stuff, what our next series will be, if we want to do Bible study versus, sermon series, what kind of sermon series, what kind of Bible study, tons of options there. So please, please, please scan that QR code, take that survey and get those answers in as soon as you can. Because I think next week we're going to do a recap of this series, and then November we will start whatever the next thing is. So scan that, and everybody YouTube can now officially go rewind and pause it. Lastly, ways to give. Another QR code, Venmo, if you would like to give via Venmo or Church Center app. Both of those are electronic. You can set them up how you want to. You can give when you want to, how often you want to. That is between you and Jesus. Where does your money actively go? Your money actively, as of now, pays Jenny and I a stipend of $750 a month. We pay $1,400 for the building every month, and that gives us free reign to do whatever we want. It was going to a lot of food and a lot of books, and so we had a budget meeting, and essentially it was like, hey, at the time we had $1,900, and it was like, we got to slow down on the spending because one, we have not told people where or how to give, and two, we feed in everybody all the time. So we have slowed down. When I say we, I mean me. I have given Vic the card. Sam, you don't have to laugh that hard. Dang. Sam was like, wah, 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 wah. She was like, he be feeding everybody. So yeah, probably through the end of the year, we are slowing down on purchasing books and feeding the masses. But through your giving, I pray that I can get the card back and start paying for people's food again. So I'm gonna just be honest, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you meet me at Blackwater, I got it on my phone, so what's up? No. But yeah, that is the deal there. So if you would like to give, if you are in person, the brown box at the front, and those are the announcements for today. So back to basics. Let's go. This is our last official lesson in this sermon series. And today's sermon is called the Spiritual Farmer's Market because that hit me like a ton of bricks while I was sermon prepping. And I was like, that is a really cool way to break this down into one title. So let's jump into this. Starting at the top, the Father thinks of us affectionately. Dang, I picked the wrong background. I forgot. Dark backgrounds don't show up. But for everybody that's watching on YouTube, they're like, heck yeah, I love these fruits. So just so you know, it's oranges like this one was, just way muted. So keep that in your mind. All right, the Father thinks of us affectionately. God is love. What does that mean? What does that look like? The Father thinks of us affectionately. He likes to see us. He likes to spend time with us. He is an affectionate Father. He is this. He also has goodwill toward us, good, friendly, and helpful thoughts. When God thinks of you, He only thinks of good and friendly, helpful thoughts. That's crazy. The Father only has friendly and helpful thoughts towards you. He also has a disposition to do good. His knee-jerk reaction is to do good to, for, and with you. This is who the Father is. This is how He shows us His love. He loves us so much that He sent Jesus. Jesus was like, let's go. I'm ready. Came to earth, showed us how to live, taught us how to live, died on the cross. Before that, He says, I am going to send you the Helper. Because the Father just wants to spend time with us, wants to be in relationship with us, he said, I will send the helper, and the helper is going to come and help you stay in relationship with the Father. The helper is going to help you receive love from the Father. All of this is happening so that we can have pure hearts and minds, pure passions and desires in the Father. Sin is the one thing that breaks this cycle up. Sin equals a lack of love. Sin equals a lack of love. Sin equals a lack of love. It is not behavior. Every behavior that we deem sins comes from this first, not loving the Father with everything that I have. That's crazy. This is probably my favorite recap point every single week. If I am not loving the Father, because they asked Jesus, what is the greatest commandment in all of the law? And Jesus says, the greatest commandment is to love the Father with everything you have. Therefore, if that is the greatest commandment, that means to not love the Father is the greatest sin. Sin being a term from archery to miss the mark. The mark is to love the Father. So that means if I'm not loving the Father, that means I am in sin. That makes sense? That's so tight. So if I cannot love the Father, if I am not loving the Father, I am living, therefore, a life of sin, which is a life of no love. Because as long as I'm connected to the Father, my life is full of love and growth and life and all of these things that the Father is here to give me. Jesus came to save us from the idea, the consequences, the misery of sin. So when What a Beautiful Name says, this is tight, my sin was great, your love was greater. My lack of love was great, but your actual love was greater. That's crazy, because only love can fill the void where there is no love. So they say, my sin was great, your love was greater, my lack of sin was great. It was a lot of no love that I had going on, but your love actually overwhelmed all of that and more. That's crazy. So Jesus dies on the cross, pays for my lack of love with the ultimate act of love. And all I have to do is believe. I got to believe that Jesus is who he is, the Father is who he is, that the helper is here to do what he is here to do. We think to the man on the cross next to Jesus. He's like, yo, I know we all up here on this cross and we're about to suffocate in blood, but I just want to say, you the truth. I'm paraphrasing. He says, you the truth. And Jesus is like, bruh, you get it. You will see me in paradise. Literally, the guy didn't go to a small group. He didn't go to help. He didn't go to Mat 25 and give out food. He didn't do anything. He didn't sign up on the calendar to make sure that somebody was able to click the slides on a Sunday morning. He literally believed, and his belief is what saved him. You are saved from sin, this lack of love, once you believe. And in my belief, I just need to seek the Father first and his righteousness, and then everything will be added unto me. We talked about how we just go and seek all the things that should be added unto us, we think, and then we wonder why our lives are jacked up, why we are stressed out, why we are angry, why we are all of these things, because we're seeking other things than the Father, his influence, and his reach. And as I seek, I pray. We went through the Lord's Prayer. I am building rapport through intentional communication with the Father. I'm spending purposeful time talking to the Father about everything that is going on in my life. All of us have been part of a conversation where the person that we're talking to is just complaining. And you're like, so is anything good happening here? Worse is the person who is only asking you for things whenever they talk to you. We're good friends, but you only hit me up when you need something. That is not a relationship. The father, though, is a good father, so sometimes he's like, yes, sometimes he's like, no. But most of the time, he just wants to spend time with you. And so I built this relationship with him, and as I built this relationship, I am loving the Father's loving me. I now learn to love myself. I'm checking in with me. Why do I feel this way? Why do I think this way? Why do I react this way? Because as I build rapport with myself intentionally, yeesh, I know where to apply the Father's love in my life. The Father is loving me all day, every day. But as I can look and go, yo, I have not healed from this when I was 10 years old. The Father's love is what heals that. But until I let the Father's love heal that, I walk around protecting the 10-year-old in normal, everyday circumstances. We react the way we do because people are people, and people respond out of a lack of love. The Christians would say, people sin against you all the time. We know this. But when we actually look at the definition, that means that people just respond to me out of their lack of love, that they are not getting, like they're not getting love from the Father. That's crazy. So I have to protect the 10-year-old. I'm 35, and I got to protect the 10-year-old because the 10-year-old does not like authority. The 10-year-old is numb to punishment. The 10-year-old is self-protecting and stands up and pokes his chest out because he is not going to let another adult talk to him like the adults talked to him when he was 10 years old. So now, anytime I am in any circle and it feels like somebody's saying something, it feels like they're threatening that 10-year-old, what do? I lash out. But that's because the 10-year-old is not loved by the Father, and I am not letting the Father love me there. So it is up to me to learn who I am. It is up to me to clear the noise. It is up to me to expect transformation in my belief that the Father is going to change me. The Father is going to heal me. The Father is going to legitimately take care of me so I can love me like the Father loves me. I focus my thoughts. I trace what I am thinking and why I am thinking it. And I can take those things to the Father because I'm already building rapport through intentional communication, right? That's tight. I'm already talking to him. So now when I take my walk this morning and I'm like skittish, Rafer is never skittish. Rafer is very rarely like in freak out mode. But I'm walking and I'm like, why do I feel this way? And as I'm talking to who else, because I'm listening to Chill Hop, who else am I talking to with headphones in, with my mouth closed? The Father. And he says, Rafer, you are feeling vulnerable right now. And you feel like your vulnerability was taken from you. You are exposed. It's unsettling. And I said, oh, snap. I am unsettled. And we take, 3 different routes? One is going to the Father with that. Another is finding something so we can avoid the conversation. And then 3 is just moving and operating from there to protect this vulnerability that I have left. We harden ourselves. That's crazy. That's so good. We protect ourselves because I feel vulnerable, but I won't go to the Father so he can love me, and then I can love me, and now, today, I can go and love other people. Because through this process, the fruit of the Spirit will be produced in me. The fruit of the Spirit will be produced in me. And we all know and understand fruit does not produce overnight. Anybody who has done any type of gardening, I think the only thing that happens with fruit overnight is bananas turning brown. That's about it. Like literally. It's like, dang, I had you here 6 hours. What happened? They was like, I couldn't do it. They was like, ooh, Lord, today drain me. So my Instagram real people, oh, Lord, today drain me. That's bananas. So they just turn brown real fast. Anyway, fruit is produced slowly. And as I do this with the Father, as I love him and he loves me and I love myself, I know that I am not producing the fruit on my own. I know that I am not trying to give people something that I don't actually have. We spend so much time as Christians trying to be the Christian instead of just being the Christian. That makes sense? That's why we make up these lists and these things of what it looks like to be a Christian so we can look out at each other and go, oh yeah, Doc's a good Christian. I know it. I see it. Yep. Daniela, yeah, she's a good Christian. But I'm the one who's setting the rules because I'm not even letting the Lord love me. I'm not letting the Father love me so I can actually judge off of love. Because when I judge off of love, even when I look at other people, my heart hurts like the Father's heart hurts because people aren't loved. That's crazy. The fruit is produced in me. Look at this. Galatians 5:22 says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law, and those who believe in Christ Jesus have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. Those who believe, and this is a belief with expectation to be transformed, those people have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. Yeesh is what I wrote. And what does that look like? What does crucifying the flesh look like? It looks like everything we've talked about the last 5 weeks. Learning who I am, learning why I am the way that I am. We all know and understand the heart is my will, my emotions, my passions, my desires, my impulses. Those things that are not of the Father are naturally nailed to a cross the more I spend time with him. We make it this supernatural thing that like one day I'm just going to be able to hear everybody in the world's prayer, and that's the thing that's going to make my heart tender towards other people. When I can finally hear all the prayers, that's when my heart is like God's. No, you are crucified every single day that you make the choice to choose what the Holy Spirit presents in front of you. Every time I choose love, a bit of the flesh is now dead. Every single time that I choose love, we choose love one time and then we're like, it didn't work, Lord. I tried it. And immediately we're like, I tried to love them and they did not accept it. They were mean to me. No, it's not, because we're going to talk about it. I don't know what I said. This is Jesus talking. I'm just up here in my Jets jersey. I'm just up here I have notes, but they really don't matter right now. 3 times already, I was like, this was not where I was going with this, but here we are. I'm like, okay. Every time I choose love, the flesh dies. Every single time. So I want to break these down real quick. The fruit of the Spirit. Notice he says the fruit of the Spirit, not the fruits of the Spirit. This is a package deal. It's a cornucopia, the Thanksgiving horn with the fruit coming out. You get the whole thing. So you can't say, well, I'm just lacking this. Nah, you don't want it. So you have none of it. Yeesh. Again, neither here nor there. Love. We know what love is. Friendly, helpful thoughts. right? This is something that is produced in me. Friendly and helpful thoughts for people when I see them. Yeesh, that is a game changer, and I don't like it while I stand here and preach it to you. I'm going to be honest. You telling me that the Spirit is going to produce friendly and helpful thoughts for other people in me. Now we know and understand why Christians don't actually want to learn their Bibles and actually get to Jesus, because now I got to treat people like Jesus treats people, and I'm not cool with that. And now I got to actually talk to Jesus about it. It's easier if I just make the rules and go on about my life. This love is not a love of ourselves. This is the love of the Father. It looks like His. It feels like His. It only comes from Him. And I can only give this to someone else if I get it from Him and apply it to me first. You cannot create this. Why don't people want to come to church? Because Christians are like, I need to love people. Then people show up and we're like, hey, welcome to church. Welcome to Oasis. We love Jesus. It's like, what? This is weird. This is gross. I don't like it. It feels icky. But because Christians are not applying the love of Jesus to themselves so that it can actually grow in them, we try to fake friendly and helpful thoughts. And it doesn't look like the Father. Joy, bliss, calm, delight. I love that this says calm delight and not just delight. Calm delight. That means I am not waiting for an event to happen so I can be happy. I am not looking for excitement to take place so I can experience something. The calm delight is the experience. Within itself, the calm delight, bliss, is the experience. No matter what is happening, no matter what time of day, somebody can break your terracotta flower pot and steal your big pumpkin that was really nice. And if you are just vulnerable enough with the Lord to say, I don't know what it is that I'm feeling, He will replace what you have, let you know that what you are feeling is okay, and replace it with joy. He will give you calm delight. By the time I got home, literally, I was like, babe, I got a whole sermon from this. It wasn't even on purpose. A whole sermon just from my vulnerability and the choice of, do I choose the joy that the Father has, or do I choose feeling like this all day? That's crazy. Peace. Peace of mind. Tranquility arising from reconciliation with God. I come to the Father. He is the best thing that I will ever experience. He is the only thing that satisfies. And that is what gives me peace. Literally, coming to the Father is the moment where I now am taken care of. Everybody knows what that feels like. Everybody knows. For every wife in the room, you get to the moment where your husband is there, and guess what? Now I have peace of mind. For the husband, it is when if we like traveling, it's like when we finally get to the hotel and we in the room and the bags are there. I now have peace of mind because everything is now taken care of. Especially if you're traveling with kids, man, you're in the airport, your kid's just like, what is this? It's like, can you please just stay in the wagon that we brought for you to sit down in? Please. I just need you to stay here so you don't get trafficked. And now I'm freaking out for the rest of my life. Will you please just sit down and drink the orange juice that you said you wanted that you don't want right now? Please. I always speak the truth. I try to be relatable as much as I can. But it's the moment. We all know what that moment feels like. We all have a moment where you can get home and everything is, and that feeling comes from being reconciled to the Father. That feeling comes from knowing I am in high quality relationship with the Father. If my constant way of living life and my mental is not a place of peace, I, somewhere in my life, am not reconciled to the Father. If I am always stressed out, I need you to know this. If you are always stressed out, what is not reconciled to the Father? That's the question I need to ask, because I'm saved. We'll say I'm a Christian. Yeah, I went to church on Sunday. But what is not actually reconciled? Because I am stressed out right now and majority of the time. That's crazy. Patience. The capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. The capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. Again, this is something that I try to produce on my own. And what does it do? Just make me more mad. Because I think, for whatever reason, that the Father doesn't want to help me produce this in me. Yeesh. So we will say, oh yeah, there's no situation too small that the Lord can handle everything. He handles everything. He's so big. But then we don't let him actually produce patience. And then when we talk about it, what do we tell people? Well, you know, the best way to get patience is to have it tested. God is going to put you through some trials and tribulations so you can earn your patience. No, this is naturally produced in me as I love like him. He loves me, I apply it to myself, and now this is something that is produced. I can't do this by myself. Kindness, good-natured and mellowed, something that is good to be used. It's the idea of being used to mellow out other harsh things. Like there was no like word definition. It was like a whole thing of like the process of making wine and like the process to make a harsh wine mellow. That is what kindness is. It's like a whole thing that I still can't even like put real words to, but y'all feel what I'm saying. To make wine mellow? Yeah, that's literally like in your Bible right now. You can look it up. The word is like the idea of mellowing out harsher things. It's a process, it's a tool, it's not where like peace is the tranquility that arises from. Kindness is I don't even know how to explain it. It's a verb. It's not a noun, it's a verb. You can't touch it. It's something that is happening. So kindness as the word, I show up, and again, we all know, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, the lady at church, everybody's like, yeah, she just like that, you know. She's just like that, which means she's the church and everybody knows, you know. And everybody just kind of goes with it, but they would say the Christian way, yeah, she's just like that. She's a little rough around the edges, you know. But my kindness in, like for real, the kindness that the Lord will produce will actually calm that. That's crazy. The kindness that will be produced in me will actually have that person mellow out. That's crazy. To look somebody in the eye and genuinely ask them, how are you? Everything.
I was gonna say, I feel like when you say that, like, it really does, and it's like, what is it that they say where it's like you, like, fight with kindness or something like that, and it truly does. Like,
Kill them with kindness.
thank you. And it, like, de-escalates.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, if people allow the kindness. Practice, you cannot kill. You literally did that. I just like, you can't kill, like, your job, like, you told the world that you cannot kill. No, we say do not kill. Not. Killing is harmful, but anyways. Ready for that?
I'm just waiting.
But so I feel like, cause like, you know, I'm thinking like real life, like application.
Yes.
If somebody comes at you.
Yes.
Like, having a bad day, whatever, they're not like coming at you, but they're just like putting it onto you.
Yeah.
Like you can easily be like, yo, I didn't do nothing.
Correct.
But then like you literally just.
There's a fruit that is produced.
De-escalate with kindness. Is that better? That's much better. Okay. De-escalate with kindness.
Kill them with kindness, dog. Come off the top rope.
Thank you. But
Come off the top rope. Elbow.
puts it all-
Elbow of kindness.
That puts it all into perspective, though, like as far as the word mellow goes, where
Mm-hmm.
it literally calms things down.
Yes.
I'm tracking that.
There's a thing floating around. Every now and then these things pop up on Instagram where it's like how to present yourself like in a conversation. And they're like, if somebody, like say somebody is making a joke about you or making fun of you, they say you pause and you ask them, are you okay? And why is that? Because it literally stops that person in their tracks and they're like, no, I'm not. And kindness, that the fruit or that is produced in you that is not of your own self, legitimately will mellow any and everyone out around you. That's crazy.
Like, remember when we were talking about how it's not killing with kindness because of the keeping of the coals or the keeping of that it's
On their head, yeah.
Yeah, remember whenever Fathom described it, and she's like, it's actually not, you're not harming anybody, you're blessing them so much with the need that they have.
Yeah, that's tight.
And then mellows it out.
Yes.
So really it is doing so much good that they no longer have the desire for the other.
Because they are given real love. They're lacking love, and so when they are given actual love, it changes the situation. Correct. Goodness. Not goodness to your statement, but goodness the word. Beneficence. Acts of charity with a strong connotation of doing good to others. Again, this is something that we try to do on our own. I'm going to go, I'm going to do, I'm going to serve. And we do this to write the resume to present to the Father later, instead of doing this with the strong connotation of doing good to others. I actually just saw a reel last night, and it was like third world country, Christian missionaries, and it was Peter Parker from the first movie, Tobey Maguire, when he's taking pictures in the museum, and he's like, oh, perfect, perfect, perfect. That's Christian missionaries in third world countries. But it's the truth, which is why it's funny. Because we're not going out of the goodness that is produced in us. We're going to say, yeah, I did this. I am like the Father. I took some time and helped some people. What's up? Look at your boy. Somebody give me a church so I can pastor it. I'm just out here killing the game. That's not how this works. Goodness, to actually give for the sake of someone else because they legitimately need it. Faithfulness, to have the qualities of being loyal, steadfast, and reliable. You can depend on me, not because I am special, but because the Father gives me energy to stay the course. The Father is giving me the energy to stay the course and stick it out. Dang, all my real life what's-the-faces are from Instagram this week. I saw a pastor and he said, faithfulness is the gift of being bored with something until it is completed. Because we get bored and then we're like, I'm out. But faithfulness, the qualities of being loyal, steadfast, and reliable. Again, this is something that I try to do myself, and we have a whole culture built around it in the church called burnout. I'm going to just go. I'm steadfast. I'm faithful. Again, I am saying that I am these things. This is fruit that is produced in me. And as long as I am trying to produce it myself, burnout is going to happen.
Think about a crochet blanket. Like crocheting a blanket at the beginning, you're like, got all the colors.
Yes.
Right? You're like, all right, I got the shape going, it's gonna look good. And when you're like in that middle stage, you're just like,
Yes.
it's gonna take forever. This is so much time. This is boring.
Yes.
And then you wait till the end, all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, like finish this. Like you wouldn't have a full blanket.
Exactly. It is day 32 of 75 hard. What am I doing with my life? This is taking forever. I don't want to do this anymore. But again, that is on my own. The Lord is going to produce this in me by me just having a relationship with him. Why is he producing this in me? Because that's who he is, and he's here to only make me like him. Yeesh. Gentleness, the harmlessness of a dove without the wisdom of a snake. I'm going to go. I got you. So normally what we say is something like the phrase of to act like a sheep, but be cunning like a wolf. You know, be gentle, but be ready to strike and kill. That's how it goes. That's how society works, you know? Be nice, but don't cross me. And gentleness says, I took the sword away. Just be the sheep. Just be the dove. Again, this is something that will be produced in me. That's crazy. That's really good. That's literally what it says in the Bible. You look it up. Crazy enough, both kindness and gentleness are both translated from this Greek word. Both kindness and gentleness both come from this same word. So even in my gentleness, the kindness and the gentleness, both of them still mellow out, and both of them are just that. It's not a selfish thing that I am giving to other people. This is something that just is. Simple gentleness for the sake of being gentle. That's crazy. And lastly, self-control, little bit of discipline. You can't even produce discipline in yourself without the Father producing it in you. You cannot produce discipline yourself because He is going to produce it in you. So again, in all of these things, we try so hard and the pendulum swings. And we're going and we're going and we're going. And then we wonder why we're so tired. We wonder, why is this so hard? I can't do this anymore. That's where we stand. But we stand there because we are trying to do it on our own. If the Spirit is going to produce self-discipline or self-control in me, obviously that means he's going to give me something that's going to help me keep my mouth shut. He's going to present an option. Okay, you can be offended by this, or you cannot be, and find love and satisfaction and wholeness in the Father. Which one do you want to do? And we're like, nobody needs the Father. I have a fence. It is not that dramatic, but it probably is that dramatic. Inside, yeah. I'm going to choose a fence. How dare they? And we don't connect this to a self-control issue. We don't, because now what am I doing? I am operating out of a lack of love. Because I did not choose the Father when the Holy Spirit presented it to me. So what do? I shut out. I'm going to choose a fence. Okay, I'm not going to go off, but I'm not saying anything. Nothing. Zero. Cold shoulder. 2 cold shoulders, as a matter of fact. And cold cheeks, because I'm not turning either one of these cheeks. Nope. That's where we stay. And again, because we are justifying our actions with the offense, we don't think that this is a self-control issue. We think, oh yeah, I'm doing the better thing because I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying nothing, but I'm not operating out of love either. And self-control says, I'm actually not going to take the offense into who I am. I'm going to take it to the Father. Now, it may be 3 days where you were talking to the Father about this offense that you are trying to take to him. Like me and Jenny this week. We were like, at some point, this argument is going to come up in the sermon. Yeesh, of course. Was that Wednesday? First night? Tuesday? Wednesday. Because it wasn't until Friday morning. It was a long time. But that's because we don't fight like that. Anyway, self-control, actual discipline from the Father says, hey, you are not okay, but you at least need to acknowledge it if you're not going to be okay. If you're not going to work through this with the Father, you at least need to give some of these that I am trying to produce in you to the closest person to you. Yes, you may be upset with them right now. I get that. I understand it. But you still need to talk to me first, the Spirit. And as you do, I will give you real discipline to actually have a leveled conversation that says, hey, I'm not okay right now. I'm going to work through this with Jesus and we can reconvene at a later date. That is real self-control. But we go, I'm not cussing you out, so that's self-control. And the whole time I am boiling, waiting to cuss you out, ready to go off because I simply won't just take the option that the Father is giving me to be loved by him, to find wholeness in him, satisfaction in him. And I'm choosing to just be offended, isolate myself, lack of love, because I'm not showing any, I'm not receiving any. So now I'm just in this whole misery, destruction. We're not getting a divorce, but communication is dead. The phone lines have been bombed and we are not connected at all. Dial tone. Dang, that was a throwback reference. Did you get that? Okay, cool. Isaac's like, what is a dial tone? Well, I don't even know what those words mean. He's not listening. He's in his own world right now. Discipline. So this is the list. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. The crazy thing about this list, the fruit of the Spirit, all of these things are produced in me for other people. The fruit of the Spirit is not something that I grow and eat myself. This is the love others as you love yourself part, because I'm getting all of these things from the Father. I'm applying these things from him to me. So the only reason that they are produced is for me to go give them to other people so that they can be loved by the Father. They will know we are Christians by our love. Guess what? This is it. Christians really sing that and be like, you, like, dang, how did, yeesh. All up in the comment sections. They will know that we are Christians by our love because I get these things from the Father, apply them to myself, and because I practice the law of love and I take what the Father has for me, I give them to myself, I can very easily give these things to everyone I come into contact with. Then I wrote a question. But Rafer, I can't just give these things to people all the time. That's not a question, it's a statement. I just can't give these things to people all the time. All the time, every day, every moment. Have you seen people? And I ask you, why not? Because Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. So if I think that I cannot give this to people, guess what's going to happen? I become a person that cannot give spiritual fruit away that I'm not even producing. So now I got to go produce it myself so I can give it to other people, but it should be produced in me. Paul gives us a great list of things to focus on and think about so I can actually become these things, whatever is true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, commendable, excellent, praiseworthy. If these are the things that I'm thinking about, it is very easy to now give away the fruit of the Spirit. If I'm always looking for what is good, I will become what is good. Who is the most good? The Father. He is every bit of this list: true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, commendable, excellent, praiseworthy. Therefore, if I am looking for the Father in every moment of every day, then it should be very easy to find him. If I am looking for these things, which the Father is, I should be able to find him every moment of every day. And further, I should be able to give the fruit away because others deserve to be loved by the Father through me. Unfortunately, we all misstep. We all sin. We all step out of love with the Father. We stop loving ourselves. And because of that, we stop loving others. Galatians 5:19 through 21 breaks down a whole list of fruits of the flesh. Right? Impurity, idolatry, enmity, strife, jealousy, fits of anger, rivalries, dissensions and divisions, envy. Impurity, uncleanness. Idolatry, idol worship. And thanks to Jackie Hill Perry, we know that we have become the idols that we worship. Enmity, the act of being hostile towards something or someone. Strife, angry or bitter disagreements over fundamental issues. Conflict. Jealousy, heat, zeal in an evil sense. Fits of anger, burst of anger, violent commotion in the mind. In the mind. It's not even burst of anger with other people yet. Yeesh. Rivalries, competition for superiority. I was actually explaining this one to Jenny the other day. And I was like, Christians are so focused on earning their way into heaven that rivalries is what we actually create within the church. Competition for superiority. I need people to see me. I need people to know that I am the one who did the good things. If it was up to me, I probably would not come to church, period. I'm not going to lie. Easy Like Sunday Morning was written for a reason. But me and Jesus are good. But people want to be seen. That's crazy. And we wouldn't say that. But a lack of love from the Father says, I immediately need to compete for superiority within this church. Yeesh. Dissensions and divisions, discord, a lack of harmony, envy, resentful longing for someone else's stuff. Resentful longing for someone else's stuff. Crazy thing about all of these things, they separate us from other people. All of these things turn us inward. All of these things are selfish. All of these things are anti-love. And all these things, we choose them easily. Everybody here has at least one of those things on their list every day. At least one. At least one. I am competing somewhere. Somewhere in my life, I am not satisfied fully with the Father, and so I am creating issues. A lot of these are running rampant in our churches because we lack love from the Father as a church. There's no way that we can have the fruit produced in us if our thoughts are only on us and what others should be giving us. You cannot give the fruit of the Spirit if your focus is you. You can't. It's not possible. The Father loved, so he gave. The Father loved, so he gave his Son. Jesus loved, so he gave his life. The Helper loves, so he gives. He is the one that is faithful every single day, dealing with my crazy thoughts. Rejection upon rejection upon rejection upon rejection. And he's right there every time with the option to be like the Father. He's there every time with the option to be loved by the Father. He's there every time saying, don't take offense to that. They need love right now. And we're like, nah, I'm going to give them love, and it's called my right fist. They're going to catch some love. Love is a 4-letter word, and I have a list of other 4-letter words that I want to love them with. Helper. That's what we do. The Father loved, so he gave. Jesus loved, so he gave. The Helper loves, so he gives. Every part of the Trinity starts with love and ends with giving for the sake of someone else. For the sake of someone else. We show up and we're like, yeah, I want to be like Jesus. Okay. I want to be like Jesus. So Jesus said, yeesh. John 13, 34 to 35, a new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. Love each other how I loved you. It is because of this love. Not church attendance, not small groups, not being fake nice, none of that. Actual love. Love like the love Jesus gave. Love that the Father offers us. This is how people know we are disciples of Jesus. We just want people to come to church so then Rafer can do all the stuff. But if you see them every day, you should be giving the fruit that is produced in you to them. That is what entices them to come to the spiritual farmer's market. So I can show up on my first Sunday at Oasis because there's something that I see in people who attend Oasis. And so when I show up to Oasis, everybody's like this. Everybody, dang. Everybody is like this. That person did not smile at me, but like I could feel like they were like good, you know? It's organic. Now we talking fruit terms. That's what's up. Organic spiritual farmers market. This is how they will know we are disciples of Jesus. Who is they? They equal others, and others equals anybody that's not me. Anybody that is not me. Anybody that is not me is others. That means the love I show my wife should let her know I'm a disciple of Jesus. The love I show my kids should let them know I'm a disciple of Jesus. The love I show my best friends, the love I show my parents and siblings, the love I show the waiters and waitresses at lunch, the cashier at Allsup's, the baristas at Blackwater, my coworkers, the people I go to church with should show, the love should show all these people that I am a disciple of Jesus. And this one is important because people leave churches with the quickness because they are not loved by the people whose love should be showing everyone that they are disciples of Jesus. I just had a conversation with a couple. You playing games back there on your phone? The people that I should know they are disciples of Jesus because of their love, those are the reasons people leave churches. Talking to a couple last week. That's the reason they're leaving their church. Because the people who claim to know and love Jesus are not being what Jesus would be. How sad is that? Which means the gospel is not being preached if people are not loving like Jesus. And again, if you think that that's a soft Christianity, you don't understand the love of the Father. That's the only thing that actually changes the actual situation. We are not here if the Father doesn't love us. The love that I show should tell people that I am a disciple of Jesus. I didn't even look at my notes, so I don't even know how much I got left, but I'm going to go. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to just keep going so we can do this. So what does it look like? Personally, I give, I reconcile, I look for the good, I fight for what is true, I sacrifice, I operate with patience, I live in this calm delight. I give all these things without the need to receive it from someone else. I'm going to say that again. I give all these things without the need to receive it from someone else. I give it all for the sake of everyone that is not me. I make it a point to let the Father and the Spirit produce their qualities in me every moment that I live. That is what that looks like. Reconcile. To actually reconcile, man, to come back into relationship. Everybody knows when I have a block between me and somebody else, there's no reconciliation there. When the block is removed and we are connected again, that is what reconciliation is. These are the things that I do because of what is produced in me. For us as a church, it looks like the personal side, except it is multiplied exponentially because everyone is here to give and love and share and provide and help. It's nothing but the fruit of the Spirit being shared every time that we come together. That is a great picture. If in my everyday life I am allowing the Spirit to produce this fruit in me, and all of us are doing the same, when we show up here, because we are all satisfied with the Father, we're not necessarily showing up here to be full from each other. We are full from the Father. This is just a party. This is just a celebration of what the Father has already been doing with me through the week. We should have to fight each other to fill the spots on the calendar. Faithfulness. Well, y'all didn't ask me. Y'all didn't ask me to do nothing. When we stand up here and we're like, hey, this is what we, the body, needs. We should have 8 people jumping to click slides. Literally, it's what, 20 people here right now? All of these things could be taken up for the rest of the year with everybody just doing one thing one time. Because of the fruit that is produced in me. And being in this position, the one thing I hear more than anything, people don't want to burn out. And why don't people want to burn out? Because we are looking at ourselves, trying to produce the fruit within ourselves instead of just spending time with the Father so I can show up and give freely. I can just show up and give freely. I know that my life is not mine to keep to myself. And when we all look to the Father to love us and provide our energy, we apply this to ourselves. And look what happens when we do. Acts 2, 42 through 47. And they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and the fellowship, to the breaking of bread and the prayers. And all came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were being done through the apostles. And all who believed were together and had all things in common, and they were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing the proceeds to all as any had need. And day by day, attending the temple together and breaking bread in their homes, they received their food with glad and generous hearts, praising God and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to their number day by day those who were being saved. Acts 4, 32 through 35. Now the full number of those who believed were of one heart and soul, and no one said that any of the things that belonged to him was his own, but they had everything in common. And with great power the apostles were giving their testimony to the resurrection of the Lord Jesus, and great grace was upon them all. There was not a needy person among them, for as many as were owners of lands or houses sold them and brought the proceeds of what was sold and laid it at the apostles' feet, and it was distributed to each as any had need. Psalm 133, behold how good and pleasant it is when brothers dwell in unity. It is like the precious oil on the head running down on the beard of Aaron, running down on the collar of his robes. It is like the dew of Hermon, which falls on the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord has commanded the blessing, life forevermore. Nothing but good comes from unity together. Nothing but the actual blessing of the Lord. And the crazy thing is, it says, for there in that spot, the Lord commands his blessing to be. He tells his love and joy and peace and fruitfulness to be there and stay. Everybody talks about being an Acts church. And we can't love people. We don't like the people that we come to church with. Why are churches not growing? Why are people not coming? Why are people stepping away from? Because we just don't love like the Father wants us to love. When we do, again, nothing good or nothing but good comes from us coming together to show each other the love the Father has shown us. It's infectious, it's captivating, it draws you in, and it feels good. It feels good. When I'm loved by the Father, I feel something that I cannot get anywhere else. I then give that love to myself. There's peace in my life. There is joy, patience, kindness, goodness, all for me. And then those things are produced in me for me to give them away. It is a spiritual farmer's market. Every time I encounter someone who is not me, I'm giving away the fruit that has been produced in me. And the fruit that's given away shows people that Jesus is real, that his love changes those who want it. It shows others that I am a disciple of Jesus, and it literally changes the world around me. People can't help but to want to be around you because you give peace away and they want it. A lot of people won't take the peace, but they'll know where to get it when they need it. That's the beauty of loving God and loving others as I love myself. I remember when I was active duty, 2010, it was probably right after Jenny and I broke up. I was a mess, man. Angry, couldn't wait to get out, just mad. And I was so mad that I made it a point to make sure other people were mad or were not having a good day. That's the person I was. I was always good with words. I was still friendly enough that people wanted to be around. But I would make sure that I killed people's excitement for work. I made sure that I spoke death on people. I made sure of that. That's crazy. Summer 2011, I met Jesus, not for the first time, but for the first real time, and his actual love. Started studying. I actually told Jenny, we drove by a house I used to live in, summer 2011. I would just study my Bible, smoking cigarettes and drinking Bud Light Selects on the porch. It was a really good time. Me and Jesus, man, studying, eating the Word of God alive, and it literally transformed me. Literally transformed me. And so the person you see today is the product of those days. I remember what it's like to try on purpose to make a person feel this big because I could. And I would test the boundaries because I knew people wouldn't fight me because we were active duty. I knew they weren't going to swing because they didn't want to get in trouble. So I would just push buttons on purpose. I would just do stuff. Just attacking people. And I would do it without cussing. That's how good I was. That's crazy. But I was missing the love of the Father, so I couldn't apply it to myself and find satisfaction in him, and therefore let the fruit be produced so I could love other people like I love me. I was loving people like I love me. It was not a good time. So, we're going to go into the holy place. We're going to listen to this song. And then after that, we are going to look at the why statement. I'm explain that, what we chose, and all those things. So, the Father loves me. I love him. I apply his love to myself. The fruit is produced in me for me to give it away to everybody that is not me. That's good stuff. Let's go into the holy place.